The first part we have is the clock generator, which is responsible to give the pulses to the counter to tell it when it counts 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 and increments. So the clock generator is used to divide the time, so to know that 1 second or 2 seconds or 5 seconds and so on has passed. So this gives pulses at each interval of the time. Then these pulses goes to the counter to keep track of the time. So if 2 pulses have passed, it means that if we said if 1 pulse is 1 second, so it means that the counter says 2, so it's 2 seconds has passed. So we keep track of how many pulses have been given to the counter. And if it reaches the maximum, let's say 15 for this counter, then it means that 15 seconds has passed. In our case, we set the 5-5 timer to a 60-second period. So if it reaches, the counter reaches 15, so it is 15 multiplied by 60 seconds, which is, I believe, 60 multiplied, I'm not sure what is it, but it is that number. And then we have, after that, after we know the time, so this part of the circuit, which is the upper part, is responsible for keeping track of time. So we know that how much time has passed. So then we have another counter here that is responsible to set the duration. So let's say here I simulate this. So if the user sets here and click on this in this button, he could set the time he wants to be reminded. So let's say 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and so on. And then the second part of here, which is the magnitude comparator, which is comparing the time the counter had reached, which is the time that has passed, with comparison to the duration, or the duration that the user has set. So let's say the user had set 2, 3, 4. Then if it reaches that much, then this light will go on, which means that the buzzer has gone on. So it means that we alarm the user or notify it to drink water. And if it exceeds that much, and it becomes bigger, which is the time has passed, then it resets the whole system. Resetting the whole system would be just click on this, and it gets resets the 5-5 timer and the counter and begins counting from the beginning, and so on and so on. So let's see it in action. Let's say let's reset the whole simulation, begin from the beginning. So let's say the user has set 1. So after it reaches 1, it is equal to that value, then the buzzer goes on for a specific period of time, then the resets the timer and then goes on. And that's how the schematic works. So you see here the different parts of the circuit, from the 5-5 timer to the 2 counters, that one is keeping track of time and the other which is used to set the time, and then the magnitude comparator, which we use the 3 outputs of it to tell which logic we are in. So it's like programming, but in the hardware level, which is very complex to think about it. Also, one thing to mention, that this push button, it's a push button or a switch, is representing actually the sensor and the reset button. So the sensor is actually the orientation sensor. So if the bottle has flipped, it means that the sensor has triggered. So the time is reset again, and so on and so on. So that is the device, and thank you for listening.